To start with, Pro Tools now offers a quick start window when you first open the application. You can now build your own Pro Tools templates. Pro Tools comes with a nice selection of these to start you off. Some have instruments, some have effects, some just have a track layout, and you can categorize these into different groups. When Pro Tools loads one of these templates, it copies in all of the tracks, audio, MIDI, window sets, everything from the old session. You can of course create a blank session, you can open up one of your recent sessions, or you can open up any session from disk. By the way, if you don't want to see this quick start menu, you can just uncheck this box and you won't see it again until you go into preferences and re-enable it. I'm going to open up one of my recent sessions here, and we'll take a look at the new Pro Tools. And here we are, we're in Pro Tools 8, the same Pro Tools with its superior audio quality, but the user interface has undergone a major facelift. The UI is cleaner, it's more customizable, it's more colorful, the text is even easier to read. Things just seem much more intuitive. We're taking a look here at the new edit window, and you can already see how nice it is to look at. The toolbar has some nice new buttons, and you can choose which parts of the toolbar you want to show. For a larger monitor, you can show them all. For a smaller monitor, you can choose, and you can even change the order of these by just dragging them around by holding the command key. Pretty nice. You have a brand new track list here, and what's new about it is that you have these nice little color bars next to it, but even better, before it was always a problem to hide or show tracks. You accidentally would select them or not select them and so forth. Now you can select a track separately from showing or hiding, which you do with this dot here. And of course you can drag to select multiple tracks to show or hide. So that's very nice. Of course the region list is still there. We get to it from this icon here. And we also have something called the universe window. Now you remember the universe window from earlier versions of Pro Tools, but it just wasn't very useful. Well, now that's integrated in with the edit window. You get to it from this icon here, and you can see a view of your entire session, and the highlighted area is the section of the session that we're looking at. As you scroll in and out, the universe window reflects that accordingly, so it's a great way to see where you are in the entire section, to move quickly to another part of your section, and of course you can make it go away by clicking that icon on the right-hand side. Notice also that the current active ruler is highlighted all the way across. That's really nice. It's very clear now to see what ruler is active. You can of course select a different one. You can even drag these rulers around. You can move your markers up above your rulers, all kinds of things. Notice also that I can have separate colors for my regions than my markers. You still set up colors in the preferences area, and you can define how the regions are colored by track or by section or by what have you. But the markers can have separate colors. And if you look up here on the marker line, you can see that I have those colors and they're different than my region colors. So that's a really nice enhancement. Next, I want to show you something about edit modes. We've always had 4 modes: shuffle, spot, slip, and grid. Now we can combine grid with the other modes. Why would we want to do that? Well, I'm going to show you that right now. Let me stop the song, and we'll zoom in on a section of one of my tracks here, my drum track. Now, if I wanted to select a section of my song by beat, but then I wanted to slip or shuffle it to a new location, I would have to do that in multiple steps. First grid mode, and then let's say slip mode. Well, now I can do that in a single step. Here's how it works. I select grid mode and I shift click one of the other modes. So now you will see that both slip mode and grid mode are highlighted. Now, if I go down here and let me select something, it's by grid, whatever my grid is set to. And now when I move it, it's in slip mode. The same thing works with shuffle and with spot. Nice. So that's a little time saver. That's part of Pro Tools 8. Here's another great feature of Pro Tools 8. In old Pro Tools, you could only have one view of a track at a time. Either you showed the waveform, or blocks, or volume, or some other automation. Well, in Pro Tools 8, we have automation lanes. Let's take a look at one of my guitar tracks. As you'll notice here, I have sends to 2 different reverbs, and then I have some automation for my 11 Free plugin. That's a free amp simulator that comes with Pro Tools 8. Well, what if I wanted to see all that automation at once? I click this little arrow, voila, there you go. You can see multiple lanes for the same audio file. This also works with MIDI, by the way, which we'll get to in a moment. And you can draw in automation as you would expect. You can change what each lane displays. You can add new lanes. You can shrink the lanes. It really works great. So that's a new feature in Pro Tools 8. Let's now take a quick look at the new mixer. The Pro Tools 8 mixer looks a lot like the Pro Tools 7 mixer, except it's a little easier to read and a little more colorful. And the color comes from these channel colors, where I can now color the background of my channels using this button here. I can also set the saturation, and I can set the brightness for the channel strips. So by using these channel colors, you can really see the sections of your song based on how you set up your track colors. Really, really nice. The other change to the mixer I mentioned in my opening, and that is we now have 10 inserts. So that's in addition to the 10 sends we already have. And of course, you can choose whether you show those additional 5 inserts or not.